Trump announces Gaza disarmament deal as Hamas agrees to new plan.
The US President Donald Trump has claimed historic Hamas disarmament deal. Trump has said that Hamas and armed groups to be completely disarmed. He said that Gaza is to be ruled by new Palestinian government. The US President Donald Trump has made a very important statement where he's gone on to say that Israeli forces are going to withdraw Gaza in phases. He's even said that international forces are going to help secure Gaza. Trump hails the deal as a major peace breakthrough and even thanks Egypt, Qatar and Turkey for the mediation. He says the October 7th threat will never return.
Hamas has confirmed they'll disarm after United States President Donald Trump revealed his border peace had reached an agreement with the terrorist organisation. Mr. Trump posted to Truth Social saying the agreement is a critical step towards Gaza being governed by a new Palestinian government that will work alongside the border peace. The president said Israel will withdraw from Gaza and be replaced by an international stabilisation force.
Like, Trump threatened to beat the SXXX out of Iran following Iran's attacks on Jordan. Vile US Pres. Usual self. Trump's biggest shock to foreign students. $100,000 fee on post-study jobs. OPT to get expensive. Like, Trump is proposing rupees 95 lakhs fee on foreign students seeking jobs in USA. It includes the optional practical training, a temporary work authorization program. Indians will be affected.
Imagine spending over $1 crore of rupees on degree from an American university, only to be told that if you want to work there after graduation, you'll have to pay another $100,000. That's nearly 87 lakh rupees. It sounds unbelievable. That's exactly the proposal that the Trump administration is reportedly considering. If implemented, it could completely change the American dream for hundreds and thousands of international students, especially Indians.
US Senate clears Russia sanctions bill. India among top countries facing 100% tariffs. Apart from the sanctions on countries purchasing Russian oil and energy products, the legislation also calls for sanctions against Iran to limit its ability to sustain its wartime economy.
US Senate has advanced a tough new Russia sanctions bill that could also hit America's own allies. The proposed legislation threatens 100% tariffs on countries still importing Russian energy. India now finds itself directly in Washington's crosshairs over its growing purchases of Russian crude. The sanctions push comes as Volodymyr Zelensky visits Washington seeking stronger American support. The US Senate has advanced a sanctions bill that could impose 100% tariffs on key Russian trading partners. The proposed legislation targets countries including India, China, Slovakia, Hungary and Azerbaijan over Russian energy imports. The bill was authored by late Senator Lindsey Graham, who passed away on July 11th. The Senate approved the measure by an 86-12 vote as President Zelensky met lawmakers in Washington. The legislation is designed to increase economic pressure on Moscow over the war in Ukraine.
Like, a US Senator, Elizabeth Warren, has accused Barclays of failing to investigate its ex-CEO Jay Staley's ties with Epstein.
Former Barclays CEO Jess Staley is now chatting with lawmakers who are grilling him over his Epstein connections, particularly the ones that he had while he was at JP Morgan. Of course, it's already been reported that there were several red flags around Epstein's transactions with that bank, but that Jess Staley was the one who really advocated for him. We just heard from the chair of the committee, James Comer, who has been leading this investigation in the House. He says that they have a number of questions for him about why Staley continued to support Epstein while he was at JP Morgan, and said they also have some emails between Staley and some of Epstein's victims, and that's something they plan to ask him about today. Of course, this investigation has been going on for a while now. We don't expect to get details today of everything that was said, but the committee has been releasing transcripts that will give us some more detail about what was discussed. And of course, we'll be keeping an eye on this throughout the rest of the year to see what kind of conclusions Congress comes up with.
Bloomberg has uncovered documents that show Jeffrey Epstein was in contact with Jez Staley, the CEO of Barclays, for several years after he became chief executive of the bank. Staley has long maintained that he cut off his friendship with the late paedophile financier once he became boss of the UK bank. However, legal documents seen by Bloomberg claimed that he had indirect contact with Epstein for years after that. The documents form part of a now settled US Virgin Island lawsuit against Jez Staley's former employer, JP Morgan.
Like, Dr. Fauci refused to answer any questions on COVID-19. Guilty mind.
Although it pains me to do so, because of the respect I have for the legislative branch of government and my decades-long record of cooperating with Congress, under the advice of my attorneys, I will invoke my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution to refrain from answering your questions.
The American people would like to understand your reasoning, your rationale for why you chose to fund the research in Wuhan.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
In the red folder on your table is a copy of Section 192 of Title II of the U.S. Code. Your counsel has been provided a copy as well. That section makes it a crime for a witness appearing under subpoena to refuse to answer any questions pertinent to the question under inquiry. Do you have that in front of you?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
Let the record record that the witness has refused to answer whether there's a folder in front of him based on his Fifth Amendment right. Have you refused this pardon, or do you have any reason to believe this full and unconditional pardon, this grant of immunity, would somehow require you to plead the Fifth Amendment?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
Dr. Fauci, were you ever made aware of gain-of-function research on monkeypox being conducted at the National Biodefense Analysis and Countermeasure Center and back at Fort Detrick?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
Dr. Fauci, did the CIA ever transfer funds to NIH under an interagency agreement?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
Like, there is serious trouble near Spanish border. Thousands from Morocco are crossing over to Spain. Italy has threatened stern action against migrants. Scary. Spain scrambles as Ceuta sees nearly 50,000 migrants.
These are the scenes from Ceuta. Around 60,000 migrants crossed into this tiny Spanish territory in North Africa from Morocco between Thursday and Friday. But about half the number of people who made that crossing soon made their way back voluntarily, Spain said. At least 57 migrants died in the crossing. Here's what you need to know about Ceuta. Ceuta and the largest Spanish territory of Melilla are located on the northern shores of the Mediterranean coast at the tip of Africa. They're both autonomous cities that belong to Spain and share the EU's only land borders with Africa. Ceuta has been in Spanish possession since 1580 and is home to a mixed population of Christians and Muslims and Spanish and Moroccan residents and day workers who live in relative harmony. But Morocco doesn't officially recognize Ceuta and Melilla as Spanish territory and often refers to them as occupied lands. Ceuta is heavily fortified and many migrants often swim from the Moroccan town of Fnaidar or Belyunek to reach the Spanish territory.
I think that this certainly demands one of the strongest condemnations, particularly of the mafias that traffic in human beings and deceive many young people, many of whom meet their deaths either in the ocean or, in this case, at the border with Spain in the autonomous city of Ceuta. In any case, we must cooperate with the Moroccan authorities, to whom I also express my gratitude for their willingness and cooperation in ensuring that the repatriations is carried out as soon as possible, and therefore the departure of the immigrants who arrived irregularly, mainly yesterday. And one further point I would like to make to the people of Ceuta and also to Spanish society as a whole.
Typhoon Noel hits China, 10 dead, scary visuals emerge.
This is Xinhua News. China's National Meteorological Center issued an orange typhoon alert on Sunday morning after Typhoon Naowo made landfall in South China's Guangdong province, with maximum winds of force 14 near its center. Later Sunday morning, Typhoon Naowo weakened from a severe typhoon to a typhoon, according to the center. China has a 4-tier color-coded weather warning system for typhoons, with red representing the most severe warning, followed by orange, yellow, and blue.
Buildings damaged, thousands evacuated. Photos and videos show aftermath of powerful Japan earthquake. Parts of Japan's Kumamoto Castle walls collapse after 7.1 magnitude quake. According to the Japan Meteorological Agency, the earthquake struck Kumamoto Prefecture at around 12:57 p.m. IST. The agency said the quake occurred at a shallow depth beneath the seabed. Videos circulating on social media showed sections of Kumamoto Castle's centuries-old stone walls collapsing, with large dust clouds rising near the castle's moat. The death toll from the major earthquake that hit Japan rose to 28, as the search for trapped survivors inside a badly damaged shopping mall and collapsed houses in the country's southwest continued. The magnitude 6.8 earthquake that struck the Kumamoto Prefecture on the island of Kyushu has injured at least 62, the prefectural government said. That number has steadily grown, fanning fears it will rise. Almost 5,000 self-defense forces personnel deployed to the region will be challenged by temperatures rising to 35 degrees Celsius on Thursday, officials said, and a significant magnitude 5.8 aftershock hit overnight to further complicate recovery efforts. Japanese media footage from inside the mall showed that part of the ceiling had caved in, and metal pieces and other debris were scattered about as helmeted and masked rescue workers searched the area. Police and SDF personnel are still searching for 4 workers in the debris at the Nippon paper mill in Yatsushiro, where a chimney collapsed. 7 others were trapped, with 5 of them confirmed dead and 2 badly injured. Isn't it surprising that in England they should comment on new PM Andy Burnham's Catholic upbringing?
In 2009, Andy Burnham revealed the 3 things that had influenced his life the most. First was Everton FC, and second was, of course, the Labour Party. But for those who don't know much about our new Prime Minister, the last one might be slightly surprising. It was the Catholic Church. Raised in a religious family in Liverpool, Burnham attended Catholic schools and served as an altar boy. His mother has been a constant influence on his faith and accompanied him to the Vatican to meet Pope Francis in April 2023. Burnham has since said he's not particularly religious now, but church teachings seem to have informed some of his politics. Notably, during the 20th anniversary memorial of the Hillsborough disaster, as thousands of Liverpool fans chanted justice for the 96, Burnham turned to Bishop Tom Williams and said, "We need to do something." He then went on to become one of the leading political voices to back the campaign for justice.
At long last, justice for the 96.
Helping push for the Hillsborough Independent Panel and renewed investigations. Some critics have argued Burnham's embraced certain parts of Catholic teaching on social issues while rejecting others, particularly when it comes to personal matters like contraception. The PM isn't alone in this belief, with plenty of other practicing Catholics finding parts of its teaching, especially on sex, troubling. But as one senior Catholic said, is Burnham's talk of Catholic influence like decorative icing on the cake, or is it really what the whole thing is made of? As he now steps up to the plate as Prime Minister, it's time for us to find out.
Europe will witness first solar eclipse in 30 years on the 12th of August. A spectacle. Like in sports, former India captain Ajinkya Rahane, who led Indian team to beat Aussies in Australia, announced his retirement from cricket with teary eyes.
Today, I feel the timing is right for me to move on and announce my retirement from international cricket and all formats. From those early days traveling from Dombivli as a young boy just to practice, I gave this game everything I had. Every single day, every innings, every opportunity I got to bat, the dream was always to wear the India cap. I lived by one simple rule: always put my country and my team ahead of myself. I played this game with complete honesty, and I have always believed that if your intent is right, the game will always take care of you. Since the time I made my debut as a first-class cricketer, Indian cricket has grown tremendously, and I feel so proud to have been the part of it over the last 20 years. While my chapter as an Indian cricketer comes to an end, my journey with the game doesn't. I look forward to helping the next generation, sharing the values this sport has taught me, and giving back to the game that has given me everything.
Like, did you read that Netflix is facing stealing charge over Nicolas Cage's wartime drama Fortitude?
A movie producer is suing Netflix after a copy of his upcoming Nicolas Cage film was stolen from its Hollywood studios. Simon Afram says he gave Netflix a master copy of his World War II drama Fortitude. 9 days later, he was told it had been stolen. He's suing for almost $150 million, claiming the film's value has been destroyed.
And finally, if you think it is only your wife who pesters you get up early, you are mistaken. Kolhapur Circuit Bench of Bombay, HC, has started a novel practice of pre-dawn queues for mentioning urgent matters. Advocates queue up at 6 a.m., or even earlier, for urgent mentioning at 11 a.m. No jokes. Lazy Bee. The 1st of August, 2026.